So after a certain gap, we are back with the Java lessons. And in the previous videos, we were learning about the basics of Java. We had looked into some sample programs and I had explained how things work. Now, in the previous program, if you look, we basically had written programs with a single class. For example, you have a class palindrome over here, and you have the main function which defined all these things, and you saw how it worked. Now, Java can involve programs with multiple classes also. So if you look over here, you can see that there is a class called room, which has a length, a variable, and a breadth variable. You're having a function get data, which is having two arguments, float A and float B. Now, whatever is the argument passed over here, A will be stored in length and B will be stored in breadth. So you have a class room which defines the variables as well as functions. Now you're having another class called room area, and this is where the main function is written. So you can write a Java program with multiple classes, but one of the classes should carry the main function. That is an important thing. So you can have classes with, or a program with three classes, three or two classes, or more than one classes, but one of them should be carrying the main function. So as you see over here, you have this class called room area, which has got the main function. You're having a variable called area over here, and you can see a constructor being run over here and an object being created. So you can see that this object belongs to the class room. Please note that the class here is room area, but you are creating an object which is belonging to the class called room. Now, this room1 is an object of the class room, and this room1 is created to run this function called getData. So if you're trying to create an object of this class room area and try to run this getData, you won't be able to do it. So you have to use the object of this particular class called room to run this function called getData, and you're passing a value over here, room1.getData 1410. Now when this value is passed, you can see that the length will be stored with 14 and breadth will be stored with a value, and as you see over here, the value expected to be displayed is 140. So I have brought that program over to this compiler over here. You can see that it is a class called room, which has got the variables as well as a function .getData. Another class called room area, which is declared as public, which is having the main function. You are creating a new variable called area. Now this object is created room1, which belongs to the class called room, and room1.getData 1410 is executed over here. And you can see that when you run this particular program and try executing it, no public class is found because there is an error with the case, so I have to write it as P. Hope you have noticed it. It was capital P already, so it didn't recognize as a keyword. So like I said, it is case sensitive, so once I give it a small p, it is highlighted. When you run executing this program, it shows that the area is 140. Now, basically, I mentioned another one point that we are creating an object of this particular class called room. Now, I'll add a statement over here whereby I'm creating an object of room area. So, I'm creating an object of this class called room area. I call it as room2 equal to new room area. I'm running the constructor over here also, and I try running this. It works fine, which means the statement is correct. I have issued a statement. I have created a constructor, an object of this class called room2, which belongs to the class called room area, but still I haven't made the function or modified the object accessing the function. Now what I do over here is I write it as room2.getData, which means room2 is an object of this room area class, which is not having this function getData. So if I try executing it, you can see that it is trying to access this particular function called getData, which is not possible because this getData is a function that is lying in the class room and not room area. So if you want to access that function, you need to use an object of that particular class only. So I replace it back with room1 dot get data, and I execute this program, and you can see that it works perfect. I've written another one program with multiple classes. So here you can study this particular program. Basically, it is about accepting two numbers and then calculating the result of various operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So you can have a look with this program, try running it your own, and try to understand how it works. Moving on, we are moving into this topic called a general structure of a Java program. And as you can see over here, a Java program has got these many layers in it. One is the documentation section. Then you have the package statement. Then you have the import statement, interface statements if required, class definitions, and the main method class. So far we have been looking at programs where you had these two sections, that is the class definition and the main method class. Obviously, we saw a program with one single class, which was basically this particular blue area that you see over here, which is the essential part of a Java program. Now, all these are optional. Now, it is not always necessary that you have to have many classes. As we had seen earlier, we had done programs with a one single class, and now we have seen a program with two classes. So these are all optional, but this part is essential. And documentation is suggested, whereby you are presenting things regarding how this program works, what are the things to be taken care of. So this is just a suggested part. These are optional, but this one is essential. Like I said before, there has to be a class which contains the main method, and that is essential. Regarding documentation, you can use any of these formats like slash star text star slash, that will be commenting the whole area. Double slash is also acceptable, and slash double star star slash is also acceptable for this documentation or commenting part of the program. Now you can try it on your own, and you can basically see that how it gets your documentation task completed. Now moving on, I'm trying to explain a concept called a package. Now, a package is a group of similar types of classes or interfaces or sub-packages. Now, if you want to have an idea about what a package is, basically you can take a look at this diagram. Now, this is basically a Java package. Now, what it means is that a package is basically a group of classes. Now, these classes will be used for particular common applications which are predefined. Now, it is not like for a program that we do, we are actually creating a class. Now, you saw that in one of the programs we learned earlier, we created a class which contained the main function. Today, in the earlier session, we learned about programs which have got multiple classes. Now, just imagine a program that requires classes that are already predefined. Now, all those predefined classes can be brought under this package. Now, if you look at this diagram, we have a Java package defined over here. It has got sub packages. Now, this lang is a package, sub package, then util is a sub package, and then AWT is also a sub package. Now, what this basically does is your lang sub package basically provides classes that are fundamental to the design of Java programming, such as string, math, basic runtime support, and all those kind of things. Now, java.util, where util is another sub package that will be providing the collection frameworks, formatted printing and scanning, array manipulation utilities, and all those kind of things. AWT is entirely another set of a sub package which is used for developing GUI, graphical user interface. For example, you might have seen calculators. Now, if you look over here, when we have a start, when we take up the start menu, basically you can see that you might have a calculator over here. Now, if not on the Windows 10, if you remember what an earlier version of calculator would look like, you could have seen that it would have been based on a Java applet kind of thing. Now, basically, you had buttons over here, and these buttons would have been executing different functions. For example, if I press this button 1, it enters into this display section over here. If I press plus over here, this is performing or indicating the performance of an addition operation. Now, all these are basically the role of buttons, and this, when you press this button, you actually are executing a certain amount of functions. So this plus has got an option only of an performing an addition operation, and thereby its function is defined. Now when you press plus, you don't expect a minus to run over here. So when you press a plus, you expect the addition to happen, which is the function definition of that particular button. And that is what happens when you define classes for AWT. So like I said here, AWT is an API to develop GUI or window-based applications in Java. Basically, you will be having text field, text area, button, and all those kind of things. So a button class will be there, whereby the function of a plus button, a minus button, and all will be defined. Now, moving on, you can read those texts to understand what it is. Now, if you want to use a package, you have to use a keyword called import. Now, many of you have done, or the assignment that was given to you to perform various questions that I had given to you earlier. You all, I'm happy to understand that you had used a class called scanner to read the values, especially in programs where you had to read in the values, an array of numbers or those kind of things. You had to read in a value, and over there you had written a statement called import java.util.scanner. Now that is basically a package that you imported into the program. Over there, the package was util, and the class that we used for this particular program, which we used, was called scanner. So you have a statement like import java.util.scanner, and in that case, java.util is a package and scanner is a class under that util package. So we are going to look at this program over here. So how to read a value and operate it. So you use this particular class called scanner. You are importing this package java.util, and in that you are using a particular class called scanner, and which is why you are using this import statement. Now this is to read a value and to operate or perform operations. Now basically what is done here is you are basically reading in a radius and calculating the area by r square, and you're displaying the area of a circle. So you have a class called main, and inside that you have the main function. You have a radius or a int radius variable called r. You're defining a variable pi, which is um, equal to 3.14, and another variable called area. Now to read in this value, you have to use this class called scanner. Now basically when you know that when there is a class coming in, you require an object. So that is why you're creating an object called s over here. So you have a statement like scanner s equal to new scanner system dot in. Now what this system basically means is that you're going to read in the value using an object called s. So I think since the video is going to end, I'll start off with a new one, and you can follow this topic over there.